It was a crisp autumn afternoon when Jake, a quiet man who lived on the outskirts of a small town, was taking his usual walk through the woods. The leaves had just started turning gold and amber, and the air smelled of pine and earth. Jake, an avid nature lover, often wandered the forest trails to clear his mind, escaping the daily grind of work and responsibilities. As he walked along a well-worn path near the edge of the woods, something caught his eye. At first, he thought it was just a squirrel darting through the brush, but then he saw it. A small, bedraggled fox, its fur matted and dirty, lying motionless beside a fallen log. Jake's heart skipped a beat. Foxes were a common sight in the area, but it was unusual to see one in such a vulnerable state. He approached cautiously, unsure if the animal was alive or injured. As he got closer, he saw the fox's sides rise and fall in shallow breaths. It was alive, but barely. Without a second thought, Jake gently crouched beside the animal. The fox, weak and frightened, tried to scramble away, but it could barely move. Jake knew he had to help. He carefully scooped the fox into his arms, holding it close to his chest to keep it warm and secure. "You're going to be okay," he whispered softly as he made his way back to his truck. The journey to the nearest veterinary clinic felt longer than it ever had before. The fox's weak, labored breathing a constant reminder of how fragile life could be. At the clinic, the staff immediately took the fox into the back, and Jake was told to wait. Hours passed in anxious silence. The minutes felt like hours as he sat in the sterile waiting room, his mind racing with worries about the fox's condition. Was it just weak from hunger, or was there something more serious wrong? Jake had always loved animals, but he had never dealt with a wild creature in such dire need before. He couldn't help but wonder if he had done enough. Finally, a vet named Dr. Harris came out to speak with him. "We've done all we can for now," she said with a reassuring smile. "The fox is dehydrated and malnourished, but it's nothing we can't fix. We're going to keep it here for the night to monitor it, but I'm confident it'll pull through." Jake let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. "Thank you," he said, his voice filled with relief. "Can I visit it?" Dr. Harris nodded. "Of course. We'll take you to see it." As Jake walked into the back room, the sight that greeted him was nothing short of miraculous. The fox, which just hours earlier had been weak and limp, was now alert and sitting up. Its eyes were bright and full of life, no longer clouded with exhaustion. The staff had given it food and water, and it was slowly regaining its strength. The fox looked up at Jake as if recognizing the man who had carried it to safety. In that moment, something extraordinary happened. The fox, despite being a wild animal, did something unexpected. It gently nudged its head against Jake's hand, as though thanking him. It was a small gesture, but it left Jake in awe. Here was an animal that, by nature, was supposed to be cautious and even fearful of humans. Yet, it seemed to understand that Jake had saved its life. The vet, witnessing the moment, smiled. Animals have a way of showing gratitude, even if we don't always understand it. "You've done more for this fox than you realize." Jake stood there for a long while, his hand resting lightly on the fox's back. He had never imagined that a simple walk in the woods would lead him to such a powerful, life-changing encounter. It reminded him of the profound bond between humans and animals, a bond that transcended words and was felt in the quiet moments of connection. A few days later, once the fox had fully recovered, Jake returned to the clinic to pick it up. The moment he opened the door to the forest, the fox didn't hesitate. It trotted off into the trees, pausing only once to look back at Jake before disappearing into the wild. Jake watched for a while, a sense of peace washing over him. He had saved a life, but in return, the fox had given him something more. A reminder that sometimes, even the smallest acts of kindness could make a world of difference. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe for more interesting videos, like and share this video. Have a nice day.